Hey everyone, Angelo here, Hollywood filmmaker, greatest screenwriter in the history of the world, recovering homeless guy. And I want to talk about what I hate most about being housed. After being homeless for 2.5 years, having a large degree of independence, not financial independence, I was broke. So I was always like filling up my gas tank like halfway, seeing how far I could get through the month before I could had to fill up for gas again, getting food from the food bank pretty much every day. Super cheap stuff, not great for my health necessarily, but what I loved about it was the independence. I could be outside. I loved being outside. I loved the freedom of just being where I am in my car. So I would park my car somewhere and that's my bed. I wouldn't even get up because the driver's seat was where I slept. So I would recline the driver's seat, get into my sleeping bag, put my eye shades on, and something I still do is my eye shades. I learned it's great for blocking out light, and it's just now I need it. I realized I tried to sleep without them for a little while recently, and I'm like, oh, this sucks. I need them now. And I loved that about it. There were a lot of problems, a lot of challenges. There are a lot of challenges to being housed too, and you can go through worse stuff being housed than you might being homeless. So I miss it. I miss a lot about it. Sometimes I think about going homeless again, not seriously. One thing, I'd love to save money on rent. I can't even say now, oh, I'm in LA, the rent's high, because it's high everywhere across the country. You go anywhere and it's high. And excuse me. You go anywhere, people are working 2 jobs and living with 3 or 4 roommates to pay rent. I'm just lucky now I only have 2 roommates. I've had a bunch of bad roommates, including where I live now. I had this awful woman who was sexually harassing me, who's super creepy. Anyways, what I hate most about being housed is the inauthenticity of it. So what I mean by that is the fakeness of everything I'm dealing with, interacting with in the apartment. Having to clean up everywhere, having to make my lunch, put things away in the fridge, take out the trash. Now granted, I took out the trash when I lived in a car. I kept trash bags and threw them out. But it was a lot more primal in a way. It was a lot more authentic in that I'm literally just dealing with the stuff, interacting with the stuff I need to survive, and there's no extra space. And if I want to do anything out, I have to either go to a park, or just sit in my car, or because I'm always out, or go to a cafe or something. Or a library. I would go to the library every day to write. I miss that too. That was really cool. Shout out to the Sun Valley Library, because a lot of libraries in LA are super busy, and also you need a key to go to the bathroom. Look, I go to the bathroom a lot. I excrete a lot of urine, and it was cool, the Sun Valley one, because the bathrooms were unlocked. It was relatively not heavily populated. The librarians were cool to me. The security guard was super cool. It was open till 8 o'clock at night. It was a dream. I love that, having those shared spaces. And I wish I could do all that, just not have to sleep on pavement, but also not have a car, because I don't want a car. I have my bike. I was actually going to go out to an event tonight. I thought there was this event, and it turns out it's not going on. So I was like, whatever, let's chill here, make this video I wanted to make. But to my point, I miss the sort of the realness of when you're homeless, you're doing the things you need to survive. I was filling up my water bottles in the park, stuffing them in my sleeping bag to warm up overnight with my body heat. The next morning, shower with them on the street by the trunk of my car. I could see mountains when I was showering. That was during the first 7 months of the pandemic, because the gyms closed. Before that, I was showering at the gym, and even at the gym, I learned to be super efficient about how I showered. I would shave in there. I learned to floss my teeth in my car and wipe the floss on my t-shirts. You housed people, come on, a lot of you housed people are slobs. You don't clean, you don't take care of yourselves, you let your room stink like hell, and the stink sticks to you. I don't understand that. When I was homeless, I took pride in cleaning my car. I'd take out the floor mats, beat them against the tires. I'd wipe down the car. I was spending money I didn't have to keep my area clean, and wipe down the headlights with rubbing compound. Shout out to my old homeless friend who taught me that trick. And yeah, you know, it's obviously a lot of challenges in that life. And, you know, it had an effect on me. That's all I'll say. To this day, it has an effect on me. But I love this. I thought that was a guy I knew for a second. I love the authenticity of you're interacting with the stuff you just need right there. Everything was like compartmentalized in my car, where I had my trash laid on one place, my bag of with non-perishable food items like protein bars or oatmeal, and you know, everything I had in my trunk or the back seat, my bags of laundry, what few other personal possessions I owned were in the trunk. And it was great, that authenticity. And you can watch the video. Don't bother finding it. I don't even know where it's buried in videos from like the end of March 2021, when I got housed after 2.5 years homeless. I'm pretty sure I was still making videos in my car, and I wasn't sure where to park my car. That sucked. In Koreatown, which I love. I love Koreatown. Keep ice out of Koreatown. And I remember the next morning driving to work, because I got a new job right before I got housed. I cried on the drive to work, because I was like, it hurts me that like I betrayed this life that gave me so much. Being homeless, it gave me so much discipline, resiliency, mental clarity. I still had a lot of issues to work through and work on, believe me. Like, again, being homeless, it was cushy in a lot of ways. There was a year I didn't work like a regular job. I was working on film sets and making videos and writing, and a lot of stuff happened. You know, I went through DPDR, which was really scary. But I missed that. That realness of you're figuring out the logistics of how to survive. I knew drive to this one park that had porta potties I could be at throughout the day. I knew, you know, try and get the cheapest foods that I could that would, again, like non-perishables, like canned sardines, tuna, all that. Gained weight, lost weight, go to the laundromat. Stuff for my safety, because it got scary, you know, with people just out of their minds. And that's a testament to how we need housing for everyone and treatment. And how we underfund that while we fund the military and this cruelty and viciousness with deportations and austerity measures. We don't have to have this, but people make the false causal connection between, oh, there are people out on drugs or have severe mental illness, therefore we need to spend billions on the police to hit them, to arrest them, to lock them in dungeons, and then what? Well, they don't care. What they're saying is they want them dead or permanently just locked up in prison for the rest of their lives. That's not a solution, and it creates more problems. We are not addressing the underlying problems, like abuse, pain, the lack of empathy people develop when they have this like lessened consciousness of others, because they don't care, they don't give a fuck, because they've been through such nightmares and such horrible scenarios. I have heard this over and over of people who, you know, reformed themselves, even not necessarily fully. They still had issues, but they talk about their childhood trauma. They went through vicious abuse, including at the hands of authorities. And we could have a society that just helps people. Instead, what do? We flash images that are so powerful and burn them into people's brains that say, this is the problem. It just comes out of nowhere, like these thugs who want to attack law-abiding citizens. So what should we do? Spend billions on sending over the police to attack them and to brutalize them and to imprison them. It doesn't work. And what are they going to do? Oh, they come out of a torture dungeon of jail. Oh, now I'm ready to get a job and I'm well adjusted and suited for life. No, the recidivism rate in America is awful. We know it gets much better when people have support programs. Around here in Culver City, they have the Actors Gang. I was reading, they do a program where they teach prisoners acting. I'm like, that's awesome, man. Like, absolutely, get That's amazing. I mean, first of all, acting is great. I love it when people are actors. And it just sounds weird to phrase it. I love it when they do that, when they do acting. But I think it's so great because you're learning about what I learned about acting. You're not just like playing this other person, you're bringing out yourself. You're figuring out like new things about yourself to bring to this part. And I'm like, that's awesome that ex-prisoners can do that. And also they say the recidivism rate goes way down when they do that. Oh, what a surprise when they make real human connections and they can see a future for themselves. They actually care to preserve that future. And that's aside from the issues of, who goes to prison based on how good their legal counsel is and the judges and juries prejudice and the prosecutor and all that. Societal issues where the police enforce whatever and whatnot. But being homeless opened my eyes to a lot of things I was aware of in many ways, but like I was already progressive. Now I'm a communist. But it like widened my view, to see like, wow, this is what it's like. And I by no means went through the worst of being homeless. Again, I never slept on pavement. I slept pretty comfortably in my car, except when we had like heat waves. Those were because you can't escape those. Being cold, I didn't mind because I had a sub-zero sleeping bag. I literally slept one night in Virginia in 0-degree weather, and the only added measure I had to take in addition to my sub-zero sleeping bag was like wear my jeans, and I might have worn a jacket under my sleeping bag, and I was totally fine. But it gets real, and you see a lot. It's hard to explain, but you see a lot of stuff happening in life, and you see your life moving forward, and yet you're in this situation, and it's just a lot. But I miss that authenticity. I seek it out now because I'm like, so much of my life revolves around maintaining my home, going back to my home. Why can't I just go anywhere and sleep? Having to be tied to this home where I can never venture too far away from it because I got to get back to it. So I miss all that. Someone suggested before camping. Hey, sounds great. Sometime I'll do it. The other part of having a home, you got to have a job. So you're constantly, trying to squeeze in what you can in your life between work and home. And you're lucky if you can just have one job and afford a place to live. I had to file bankruptcy when I was homeless, and that was tedious and expensive in itself. You have to hire a lawyer. It took months, and it helped. I discharged my debts, $22,000 in debt. But a lot of people can't afford a lawyer or don't go through that. It's just hard to do, or they aren't able to file bankruptcy, and it's devastating. It's absolutely devastating. All debt should be forgiven as far as I'm concerned. Or at the very least, all credit card debt and medical debts and student loans. So those are pretty much the big ones too. But anyways, before I ramble on too long, those are my thoughts. Again, I thought I was going to an event tonight, but I'm really happy I went out. My writing, I'll mention this too, my screenwriting. I was really distraught about my writing last night and today. What I did tonight, all day today, I was trying to loosen up my body, be loose, because I know when I'm tight and constricted, the writing doesn't come. And the writing gets worse, and I get more distraught. What I did, I just tried to write more quickly, and no matter how many times I do it, I always think, oh, but I don't know what I'm going to write. I don't know what I'm going to say. I'm not planning it. That's where the good writing comes from, where characters do stuff that's exciting before I'm ready for it, because it means it's before the audience is ready for it, and before the characters are ready for it. So it's like, oh, they're doing things now to surprise me. So I'm very happy. I'm still a little like residually distraught from how my nerves were frayed today, but I wrote like 5 pages tonight, and I'm like, oh yes, Angelo. Like, I thought I was lost hope. I thought I was, without salvation, and then salvation coming. Language, please. Sorry. But a language came running toward me when I wasn't expecting it, which is a beautiful metaphor for how to write, which is write faster than you consciously want to, because then your subconscious gets to work. That's how I've written 2 screenplays already. I've written like a dozen, but nobody will see those. They were like for practice. But my 2 most recent ones, and I'm very pleased with those, and I was very pleased to get positive feedback on one, and it's still evolving. Even after I got that, I was like, oh, I could do stuff to fix this script. But I was like, Angelo, write quickly. Yes, it's a messy and it's a little bit disconnected, or the connections between the scenes are kind of wonky, they don't like line up right. That's fine. I can go back and pick out what are the strongest ideas in this, what ideas are waiting to come out that are strong, and that's how I write, with barely any notes, no designing, brainstorming, outlining whatsoever. I let the characters come alive and surprise me. I usually write too many characters at first, and then I start to delete some, and that's what I quickly started doing. I'm like, oh, why do I have two friends essentially acting like one person? Like, they're both feeling the same emotions. Like, just cut it down to one guy. And it's inspired by stuff I went through. So I'm like, well, it was two guys there, but I quickly, within like, I don't know how long, maybe a day or two, maybe a little more than that, I realized, oh yeah, Angela, you don't need, like, it's not working. That's why you're having challenges with this. So I'm relieved by that. I still have to release some of this residual stress, but that was really good news. It really felt like recently what David Mamet said about writing, that you're bleeding on the page. Because it's a very personal story I'm writing now. I was, aside from being distraught about the quality of my writing, while writing, it was pulling up a lot of old emotions and ripping out open old wounds, and it hurt. Like, it was causing me like really intense, feelings of pain and longing while I was going to sleep for a while, and it still comes and goes. I'm like, that's beautiful, Angelo, use it, do it. And also that shows you how powerful writing can be. I'm like, good, if it's doing that to me, it means it's important and it matters. I didn't feel that with the last two movies I wrote, even though they're both very much drawn from my personal life. One about being homeless, and another inspired by my mom. She's doing great, by the way, Angelo's mom. She wants to come over and visit LA this summer. We're gonna try and make it happen. I feel it's so unfortunate. I haven't filmed her in years, 5-6 years, but we talk almost every day, and yeah, she's doing well. Thank goodness for that. So, but yeah, it was bringing up a lot, and it's like, Angelo, keep going for that. Let it happen, and it's probably healing my DPDR as well, which I'm still recovering from another bout of. So it's a beautiful thing. I'm gonna get going, go home. I'm reading a book, a Frederick Forsyth book. And I'm not going to say which one until I'm done reading it, but I love his books. Yeah, everybody read a book, and get out, ride a bike. I recently I'll make a different video about this. I went out with a friend, and I got in his car, and I was really upset about being in a car just to go 2 miles to go to a restaurant. I'm like, I didn't want to do that. He kind of threw it out real quick, like, yeah, come in my car, we'll go. And I didn't have time to object without sounding rude. He wouldn't have cared at all. And I told him, like, yeah, next time take your scooter, because he has a scooter, I'll take my bike, we'll just go out that way, because I missed the trip. I was like, I missed the trip. It was like I was put in a bubble and just arrived, and I was like, I missed I deprived myself the pleasure of the trip, and I could feel the waste of all this steel and glass and gasoline and infrastructure in the street and parking garage to go for something I could do on my bike. So anyways, ride a bike, get out, be out with people. Stay connected with each other, especially as we descend into fascism, which capitalism always does, and create connections and community. And hey, it's not easy, but your pain, I learned, is a bridge to people. I believe James Baldwin said that, and I'm sure many others have said it. And I was thinking about that, watching other people, go through their pain too, and talking about it. So I'm gonna get going. The train means the video is closed for business, whatever that, I don't know. And let me know what you think. All right, everybody, bye.